All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Wednesday morning. We got a morning edition of KFTV Live presented by Wayfair. CBA Fanchise in the building. On today's show, the Knicks training camp roster has been finalized. Knicks making a flurry of moves on Tuesday, and we're going to break it all down with Knicks insider Stefan Bondy, covers the Knicks for the New York Post. Shout out to Steph, man. Steph, welcome to the show. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. You know, you're right. It was a flurry. It all happened at once, and they got all 21 players, the max that they can bring into camp. So it pretty much all happened yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. And just keep me posted on your technical stuff. In the event we'll lose you, we'll bring you back in once we reset. But let's start at the top of the ticket, man. You had Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet signing Exhibit 9 deals. One vet spot to go with two vying for it. We may have an opportunity here where both make it. But what you make of both of those guys getting picked up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that both of those guys were in the works for a while. They've been in talks with the Knicks for months, basically. And, I think it's a situation where we're going to go into camp and the message is going to be they're fighting for one spot. Now, this is just, I'm not, I don't have this firmly enough to report it, but I think, by the time the season starts, there will be a trade because Malcolm Brogdon had options. Landry Shamet had options. They would not be coming to this team unless they knew they were going to make the roster, or there was a very, very good chance that they were both going to make the roster. So, there's no hard deadline. I think both these guys are going to come into camp without a trade happening first. And then before the season starts, I think you'll see both these guys on the roster. Also, Garrison Matthews will be in the mix, but certainly Malcolm Brogdon and Landry Shamet are in the are in the lane where they're the favorites to make it.
Yeah, especially Brogdon. I mean, Keith Smith, one of the things he talked about, capologist Keith Smith, one of the things he spoke about was how, with the addition of the third two-way spot, it kind of squeezed that market for those 15th veteran roster spots. But are you surprised that it kind of came down to this with Brogdon, even though you said he had other options?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this is a product of the CBA and the apron system where guys are in the market, just aren't getting the guaranteed deals because people are up against these aprons and they don't want to, all these restrictions that come with it. Plus, you don't have a lot of cap space in the NBA, and all these contending teams that a veteran like Malcolm Brogdon would be valuable on, and teams he wants to play on, they're up against these aprons. So, I think that the players union made a mistake agreeing to all this stuff because you're seeing kind of the residual effects with these veterans who can't get guaranteed deals. Malcolm Brogdon, in any other year before this apron system, he's getting like a $10 million,
Right.
1 year, $10 million guarantee. Now he doesn't even get a guaranteed contract heading into camp.
He's a guy I've wanted on the Knicks probably for, last 5 seasons. He was always rumored to the Knicks. Knicks always interested. Now he is here, older. 3-point shot fell off a cliff with the Wizards, but hopefully that's just kind of a 1-year thing. Obviously, the durability is the main concern, but, overall, I think it speaks to their desire to kind of fill that backup point guard spot with a true vet. They need that to have championship caliber aspirations.
Yeah, and I think we saw the Tyler Kolek in summer league. He did not have a good summer league. I think there was some hope that he could kind of emerge in that spot, but this kind of showed you exactly where they stand with Tyler Kolek. They needed a backup point guard, and Malcolm Brogdon is more than capable, like you said, when healthy. And we haven't really seen him the last 2 seasons. I mean, he won Sixth Man of the Year, and then he went to Portland and he kind of faded in obscurity with injuries and different problems. I mean, I talked to somebody who would know. And they said last season was just like, listen, like the Wizards were just trying to tank. And you could say the same thing with Jordan Clarkson. Like, it was just a wasted year for those guys. So I'm interested to see both those guys in camp, in preseason games, and what they look like, because they're now, entering their mid-30s, and they both dealt with different, levels of injuries. I think those are two guys that I'm very interested in seeing, during these preseason games.
Yeah, likewise. And Shamet coming back, I thought that was a good move by them. I liked how he finished the year. I liked how he played in the playoffs. Gives them an edge. Played with a lot of fight. Yeah, he's a little bit undersized in some of the roles that they had him in defensively, but I like how he kind of got into a rhythm late in the season. Kind of fits that locker room too.
For real. I mean, you mentioned the locker room. That's who he's a professional. Like, he's just a professional. He's always going to be in shape. He's not going to grumble about his role. The fact that he separated his shoulders, and we saw that, man. Like, it was the same thing that happened to Julius Randle. Julius Randle was not able to come back. Landry Shamet, and now this is not a knock on Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Julius Randle tried his best to come back. I mean, he was playing through pain. He really wanted to come back, but Landry Shamet was able to do that and then be able to crack the playoff rotation. I thought that was remarkable and a testament to his work ethic. And I think he's a guy you can put in the locker room, any locker room, and he's going to fit.
Yeah. The Matthews, what do you think about his chances? I mean, is it kind of a situation where, like, if a Shamet doesn't show up as well in the preseason or maybe gets hurt, what do you think Matthews' chances are of making this team?
Yeah, I think he has a shot, but like you said, like I said, it's the inside track for Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon. And that's assuming they can get that second spot and make a trade, which I do think is going to happen. And I think, Garrison Matthews would have to show something a little bit more than than what those guys are showing. Like you said, there is an injury, or Landry Shamet just doesn't look like himself, or Malcolm Brogdon doesn't look like himself. I think that's the only way that we're talking about Garrison Matthews on this roster.
Is it safe to assume, with both those guys being guards, is it safe to assume? I mean, anything's possible with Leon and those guys, but I mean, is it Kolek that's kind of the front runner to be the odd man out? Is it Dadier? What do you think?
Odd man out isn't traded.
Yes, if they clear up the two spots to bring in Brogdon and Shamet.
All right, so again, I'm not reporting this, but just for the sake of us freestyling and talk about this
Sure.
because it's fun. The buzz that I'm hearing around the league is Pacome Dadier and Miles McBride, and
Oh my God!
I think I know, I knew that was going to elicit a reaction. Now, again, like this isn't. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is just buzz. The league talks, and
Yeah.
this 75% of the stuff I hear like this, it just never happens. So I want to preface it with that. But all right, I think it's easy to get off those guys. I think that's the big thing. You trade Pacome Dadier, he doesn't have a big contract. They're going to be takers based on his upside. It's kind of, you don't have to really sell that one. It makes a lot of sense to everybody. They're a win now team. Pacome Dadier is not really ready, but Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon are ready. So that trade makes sense. Now, if you're looking at the McBride thing, here's where kind of you could sell me on it. He is up for an extension after the season, right? They're up against the second apron. They're paying their starting five a lot of money. They're committed to them beyond a bunch of years. What if they don't want to pay Miles? Miles McBride's going to want money. He's going to understandably want money. He's been playing on a bad contract for a while. So let's say they don't want to pay him. He's at his peak value right now. You could obviously get off of him. The guard situation, if you bring in Malcolm Brogdon, you're going to have four ball handlers already. You have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Jordan Clarkson, and Malcolm Brogdon. How many minutes is Miles McBride going to be able to get? Maybe there's another team out there that values him as a starter. You obviously would be able. He's a very valuable player in the market. You would obviously be able to bring back draft capital. The Knicks have no draft capital right now because they used it all on Mikal and Karl-Anthony Towns, so you're able to recoup some of that. So that's really where you can sell it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this is just some stuff being thrown out there.
Damn, that's tough. But, one of the topics on this rundown was talking about Deuce, and wanted to talk about your interview with Deuce, because I did wonder, they bring in Brogdon, they have Clarkson here already. Where does Deuce really fit in that rotation? Does Brown go 10 if he's here? And how does that guard rotation work if he's going to go 9?
Yeah, I mean, listen, 10 is tough. Like Steve Kerr tried it, right? 10, I can't, maybe Brown can start that way. It's just tough because you have all what are you going to give 5 minutes to somebody? Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe he can pull it off. But McBride is excited. I mean, t in talking to him, he's excited about this new look offense.
Mhm.
And now, to be clear, when we're talking about trades, Miles McBride is a better player than Malcolm Brogdon and Landry Shamet at this point. So he to me, he's the most athletic player on the Knicks. He would thrive in this kind of up-tempo community offense that Mike Brown was talking about. And that was basically the gist of my interview with him was the offense got stagnant in his eyes, toward the end of last season. And he even said in years prior, and Mike Brown came in and they had discussions, and he's talking about movement without the ball and guys getting involved without the ball. And he feels like that's something that he can thrive in. I think so too. So listen, assuming he's on this team, and like I said, I think he's going to, I'm not reporting that they're trying to trade him or
Mhm.
anything like that. I think he would be a great fit in Mike Brown's system.
Yeah, I'd like to see it, man. I want to see what this new system, that the impact that it has on guys like a McBride, on a Mikal Bridges. Does it turn Cat into? They put the ball more in Cat's hands like they did with Sabonis, and even though Sabonis was a better passer, Cat is a great passer in his own right. So I want to see the impact that offense has, because you're right. Like, when you look at the numbers, yes, you can say last year they had the fifth ranked offense, but it was clear at times that it kind of grinded to a halt, especially in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see if Brown's offense takes them up a notch where Tibbs's couldn't.
And there was one other thing he said in our interview that I thought was interesting. Now, this was a team, in my opinion, and I think people around the league thought they exceeded expectations. People didn't expect them to beat the Boston Celtics. Um, but he said we left a lot on the table,
Yeah.
and that kind of told me these guys are coming in with the idea we're going. Now, he didn't say this explicitly, but if you leaving something on the table and you make Game 6 of the conference finals, what you left on the table is getting to the NBA Finals, and so. I think that is the expectation of this team. I think that's very realistic for this team, considering how you look at the Eastern Conference. And I think that's where the mindset is heading into this season.
Yeah, no question about it, man. Once again, we're talking to Stefan Bondy, Knicks insider for the New York Post. Salute to everybody in the chat. Early edition episode of KFTV Live, breaking down the training camp roster and potential moves to be made to make space for guys like a Malcolm Brogdon or Landry Shamet. So yeah, that's interesting, man. Even with Pacome, like I know he's not ready per se right now. I'm just leery of just giving away more talent or more younger players for guys who are here for a pit stop. Not clear if they're gonna make it through a whole 82 game season. You know what I mean? Like, especially Dadier. Kolick, I can understand that, but Dadier, I'd rather keep. I think they need more wings on this team.
Yeah, and listen, it's contradictory with what they were saying when it was like we're going to focus on player development. We hired this guy Billy Lang,
Right.
so you would want to keep and develop a guy like Pacome Dadier. So I get that line of thinking too. A lot. It's funny. I mean, we're talking about this. These are good problems to have.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I think we can look at this team with the glass half. We're talking about bringing on the ninth or tenth man and finding a way to get that make that happen. This is the kind of conversations we have when we're talking about a championship contender. So I think that's a good thing. But you're right. I mean, if you're looking at the future, the Knicks don't have many draft picks. We talked about that. But Combe Dadier is their only first round draft pick since when? Who was their first round draft pick before him?
Who's that?
Like,
Was it Grimes?
that's a long time ago, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like you want to develop and keep your first round pick. So I get that line of thinking too. They don't have many in the future and they don't have many on the roster.
What did you hear about Billy Lang, who they're bringing in from St. Joe's as the player development head?
I've heard good things. I've heard, I didn't get to talk to, people from his Villanova days. He obviously spent a lot of time with there, and I think that obviously helped him get the job. He has a lot of connections there. He's close with Kyle Lowry, I heard. But I heard more about his time in Philly, and he was there during the process era. He worked with Ben Simmons early on in his
Mhm.
career. He worked with Jahlil Okafor. Obviously, Okafor didn't really pan out. But he worked with Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant exceeded expectations. I think he worked with TJ McConnell, who exceeded expectations. So the whole process era, what was it about? It was about development. And he was a part of that. I heard also when Jimmy Butler came in, Jimmy gave him a hard time. So him and Cat can kind of bond over their Jimmy Butler trauma. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've heard good things. I think he has a lot of friends in the organization. The Knicks have become like this South Jersey, Philly like crew now, and he's a part of it.
It's interesting because when Leon first got here, they stated that they wanted to build out the player development, right? Remember, they brought in Aaron Brooks and they brought in like a number of developmental coaches. But now with the Billy Lang hiring, I'm getting the idea, I'm hearing that like they really want to enhance it a bit more. Like they really never had someone spearheading the whole thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, within the 5 years that he's been here, that Leon's been here, that they didn't really shore that up or really have that process in a place where they felt like it was effective.
Yeah, and I think all right. So taking you back to when they were hiring a coach to replace Tom Thibodeau, a lot of things they were taught, and I reported this at the time. A lot of things they wanted were they laid out even before the interview started was we want to focus on player development. We want you to hire an offensive and defensive coordinator. That happened. We want you to have a 9 or 10 man rotation. I think we're probably going to see something like that. And as I was hearing this, I'm thinking, so basically they want everything that Thibodeau wasn't.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's like, so they, I think that is the focus coming in is to do a lot of the things that they didn't get from Tom Thibodeau. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like you take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands, which is effectively what we're talking about. Because if you want movement and stuff, what are we talking about? We're saying less isolation with Jalen Brunson. Well, guess what? Jalen Brunson was fantastic. Jalen Brunson was an All NBA player. So if you take the ball out of his hands, how's that gonna look? Could it make the offense better? It could. Could it make it worse? It could. So I'm interested to see how this whole thing is gonna play out. And I think they're going to start one way, and if it doesn't work, they might pivot. But
Pivot.
obviously, the hope is that everything works out.
Sure. They added Matt Ryan, they added Alex Len as well. Matt Ryan, he came last year. I don't really expect much from him, but is Len, who was coached by Brown, is he any prospects? Does he have any prospects of making the team?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting that he signed in do you understand these Exhibit 9 and Exhibit 10 things? Because I'm lost, bro.
So the ten is for the guys like Muhammad Diawara signed the 10, Dink Pate had signed the 10, and that is to get them the guaranteed money, and then they could have their rights for the G League team. I think the 9
right.
is for the veterans that will get them the minimum salary, or I think that small amount, and
Okay.
in case they get injured during training camp.
Okay.
That's
Well,
how I distinguish the two.
okay. So he signed an Exhibit 9. I don't know. I guess that means he's just not going to play in the G League, no
Right.
matter what. So, that makes sense. It's hard for me to see a path unless they make a big trade and they free up roster spots. It's hard for me to see a path because how are you going to get that third? How are you going to get that third roster spot open
Yeah.
if you're
Two in
probably taking
terms of
Shamet and Brogdon and maybe Garrison Matthews. So yeah, I mean, listen, I went to University of Maryland, so go Terps. He was a big time player when he was there. I personally I don't know, but I personally don't see a path
Yeah.
to him making the squad.
I mean, just thinking about the big man depth, are they looking at getting Hukporty sub minutes? Because I'm looking at Mitch. I'm like, man, I wouldn't play him on back-to-backs. I'd make sure that, you get him fresh for April. That was one of the advantages that they had was that he was able to ramp up at the perfect time in the playoffs and really be impactful. But now he's starting from the beginning. I'm hoping that they just, get Hukporty some minutes here, especially on the second night of back-to-backs. I wouldn't even play Mitch.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because when we talk about, and another thing, when they were hiring a coach, a lot of what they talked about is collaboration with everybody, the front office, the coaching staff, and the medical
Medical.
staff.
Yep.
And I think that we are going to see a lot more resting. And Mitchell Robinson is a candidate for that. Now, Mikal Bridges ain't gonna miss a game, but
Right. Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson will probably be sitting some games, certainly if he gets a little bit banged up. And that's where you can see like the importance of a guy like Hoporty step in. And Yabusele can play center too. I'm interested to see how they deploy him. He looked great in some of those
Yeah,
Eurobasket
he did.
games.
Yeah.
And he was, we don't talk about him enough, but he was obviously the biggest offseason signing. And that 3-point shot for a big man is really improved. And when somebody starts at a baseline and they just keep getting better and better and better, you kind of expect him to kind of continue that trend. So he could have a real breakout season. How many minutes he gets behind Cat, who also has dealt with a lot of injuries as well, and Mitchell Robinson, we'll see, but I think there's a big opportunity for him this year.
Yeah, for sure. Diawara, he gets the Exhibit 10, but Ian Begley had reported yesterday that it's expected that he gets
Yeah.
that rookie exception contract. Have you heard anything in terms of their impressions of him? He had some bright spots in Summer League, but it wasn't clear if he was going to stay or go back to France.
Yeah, he was probably the most impressive player in summer league. Obviously Pacome got hurt, Kevin McCullough got hurt, so we didn't see enough of them. But Diawara was the guy where, you're watching him and be like, I could see this. I could see this. Um, he came in, the reputation was he's a defensive guy, but he
Mm-hmm.
showed some skills
Yeah.
offensively that I didn't think he had, or, that the scouts and the people I was talking to before did not, address and tell me about. So I was very impressed by him. I think he's young, very young. He has a high ceiling. And think about this. I think he picked up the sport pretty late. He's been training in Europe. He's going to come now to a situation where he's going to be training at the best facilities. He's going to be working with coaches with all this experience. We mentioned Billy Lang. So, when he steps into that environment, how much better can he get? I think that's something that intrigues the Knicks.
They announced the 3 two-way deals. Kevin McCullough comes back on one, not too surprising there. But they added Trey Jemison the third, and then Tosan Eve
Yeah,
Bowman.
good luck, bro.
Bowman.
Good luck.
Bowman.
Good luck. Yeah, I can't do it either. I
Yeah.
can't do it either.
You
I'm
know,
not even gonna try.
But McCullough, I think, he'll be G League for probably the whole season. But I mean, what about Jemison and Tosan? Any thoughts on them?
No, I can't tell you, man.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you got? You got something for me? I
Yeah,
don't know much.
no. I mean, listen. This guy Tosan, he did average 9 points with the Nets last year. Looked pretty decent, but just out of curiosity, what they might be able to do with this team. Who knows? At least with Trey Jemison, he's had some experience at the pro level with the Grizzlies and the Lakers. So, at the power forward spot, maybe that's a guy who gets a little bit of minutes later in the season if God forbid somebody gets hurt or something. But
Somebody gets hurt, they're playing some games that towards the end of the season that don't really matter. Those are the kind of times you see them. I think they're going to spend, obviously they're two-way players, so they're going to spend a lot of time in the G League. So if you want to see their progress, man, what is a Westchester County facility? Is that where they're playing these
I
days?
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so get some tickets there. I've been there a couple times. It's a good environment, man.
Yeah,
And
my
Knicks
guy
fans are
Mellow
passionate,
Mike.
so they want to know how their two-way guys are doing.
Yeah, one of our guys, he's a diehard KFTV fan. He's there. He's got season tickets to Westchester. So
Man.
he's everywhere. Shout out to Mellow Mike, repping the G League Knicks. Dink Pate, what about Dink Pate, man? He's headed to Westchester. I hope he makes it. I like his game, man.
You like his game. Had some moments in summer league, man. He's kind of, he needs to gain some weight, obviously, get some strength, but he's only 19, 20.
Yeah.
So, he's a guy when you look at upside and certainly ability to score. He's the guy that you give the ball to and let him do work in the G League. And I think he's going to be putting up numbers there. If I don't know if they do fantasy G League, but pick them up.
Fantasy G League draft. With 21 guys, I mean, you got Abu Dhabi coming up in a couple weeks. You'll be out there. who's going to be playing? Like, how much you expect these guys to play? Like the Brogdons, the Lens. How much are these guys even going to be playing?
I think that, I mean, this is legit, man. We're going to be seeing preseason minutes. Now, listen, they're not going to be playing 30 minutes, but they're going to be going um like that at the very start, like it's a regular season, I think. So I think we're going to be seeing the main guys, and then in the second half and maybe second quarter, fourth quarter, we'll see the reserves. We'll see more like guys like Brogdon, and then as the preseason goes along, during the later games, then you get more of the reserve minutes. But we're gonna see some. They're in Abu Dhabi. They're gonna want to put on a show. The guys are gonna want to market themselves across overseas. They bring in some Middle Eastern money and stuff like that. So I think they're gonna want to play. I think we're gonna see Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and here's the big question: who's gonna be the fifth guy? That's gonna be the big question heading into camp. Like, what are you gonna do, Mike Brown? Are you going to start Josh Hart, or is it going to be Mitchell Robinson or Miles McBride or Yabusele?
Where do you think they should go?
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
Mitch or Josh. I mean, listen, I get it. Josh took himself out of starting lineup. I thought that was an interesting move. But he's still a good two-way player. He still put up triple doubles when you gave him the minutes.
Yeah,
he's still a player. So let's not discount Josh Hart. One thing I'm worried about with him though right now is he's had this thing on his finger all summer. Like I was just at I saw you there. We were just at that live roommates podcast, and he had it on then. So he's had it on since July till early September already. He hasn't been able to get up any shots during the summer. So that's obviously a concern for me.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I think for me it's how does his game translate as he gets older, right? Like, does the knee injury, the knee issue, the chronic knee issue, is that something that has to be managed? Does that limit his athleticism? He's a guy that gets it going in transition. Does that slow him down as he gets older? I'm going to be interested to see how Josh Hart plays. But, clearly the three-point shot is always going to be, what swings things for him and this team. But like you said, triple-double capable, man. Can't sleep on him.
You bring up a good point. I covered, we talked when Josh Hart came to the Knicks, we were like, he's going to give up his body for everything. That's how he goes. He goes 100% all the time. He's going to fly into stands. I'd covered somebody similar like that when I was covering the Brooklyn Nets. It was Gerald Crash Wallace. And he hit 30 years old, man, and he just fell off a cliff because his body had been through so much. So you bring up a good point. How is Josh Hart's body going to hold up? I think he takes tremendous care of himself. He's in great shape all the time. You mentioned the knee. That was obviously a big problem last season, but that should be a concern is how does 30-year-old Josh Hart kind of move forward?
For sure, man. Have you done any research on Abu Dhabi, man? Do you have your tour planned? Are you taking any like Viator tours, any walking tours of the cities? Do you have that planned out?
Bro, I'm gonna tweet it out when it happens. I'm gonna be on a camel. You're gonna see me on a camel. I don't know how that works. Like they got the hump, but whatever. I'll be on the camel. I'll take the picture.
We got to live stream it. We got to live stream
you
the
got
experience,
live stream
man.
me on the camel.
Yeah.
Maybe me and Steve Popper on the camel together. Who knows? Because he's going too.
Is Matthew going?
What's that?
Is Fred going? Is Matthew going?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so. I don't think Matthew's going. I don't think James, what do you call him? Trilogy's going.
Trilogy's not going.
I don't think he's going. So it's gonna be me and Pop as the beat writers out there, and we'll be on a camel. And I heard the view of the stars. There's nothing like it out there.
That's what I heard.
We're obviously covered in smog and everything, but there's nothing like that. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Well, we're covered in capitalism here in the great shores of New York, man. So
Yeah.
But now that's great, man. Safe trip, and let's catch up when you get back, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad my computer didn't crash out while we were in this interview. I was worried about that. We're going through the company update on the laptop. So
absolutely. Anything else dropping this week? You dropped the McBride article yesterday. Anything else coming out this week?
Kind of what we talked about, this trade stuff, the possibilities of it, and I'm writing that up right now. And then we got my camp preview is coming out right before camp starts, so that's around the corner, less than a week now.
All right, there you go, man. Well, we'll be tapped in, and once again, keep up the great work and safe travels, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right, that's our guy, Stefan Bondy. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Early morning edition of KFTV, man. I'm up and at 'em. We got training camp, rosters finalized, 20-man roster, all set in stone. Who's getting traded? We got to know these things, man. I'm hyped. Salute to my Fanchise channel members. Will Latimer, what's good? Who's getting traded? If they trade Deuce, I'm going to be tight, man. I'm going to be tight. Do not trade Deuce to keep Brogdon in. Pablo G, early for you guys. Yeah, shout out to our friends across the pond. Shout out to everybody in the UK, of course. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. Early morning edition. Yeah, we live, man. We cooking. We had the Begley show yesterday. We got Bondy today. Friday will be another one. Next week, and we're going to keep going. When does camp start? Well, Media Day is September 23rd, so I would have to think camp probably starts on the 24th. Who else we got? Stevie Nicks, salute. Eric L. Beats, we got you. Do not trade Deuce. William J. Bowman, salute to you guys, man. All right, what else we got? Couple of announcements to make as we talk about this season. Our first premium fan experience has been announced, man. That is the Knicks versus Bucks NBA Cup game at Madison Square Garden, Black Friday, November 28th. So it'll be yours truly and a gang of Knicks fans. Your ticket will include a ticket in the lower bowl. We'll have the MSG Premium experience. That'll either be watching the team practice and pregame shoot around, or take the free throw on the court, or a group photo on the court, or take your photo on the court. That'll be announced in the coming weeks. You will get a KFTV prize pack, a nice little gift bag, as well as refreshments at Clinton Hall 36. So go to KnicksFanTV.com to get your ticket. Shout out to everybody that's purchased theirs already. We got Knicks fans coming from far and wide, so looking forward to celebrating with the fans. And once again, that'll be our first game, our first outing at MSG. Our first group outing will be Knicks versus Bucks NBA Cup matchup, Black Friday, November 28th. And you can go to KnicksFanTV.com to get your tickets. All right, who else we got in here? Richard Miranda, I see you. Develop a comb. Coach Mike, salute. Brown will bring Monk back. Yeah, salute, man. I'm not trying to trade, dude. I'm not even trying to trade Pacome. So we got to see what's up, man. Who else we got in the chat? If you guys want to call me up in the KFTV Discord, call me up in the KFTV Discord. If you guys are on the grind, man, throw a hashtag grind in the chat. Hector Morera checking in from Honduras. Shout out to Hector, man. How you feeling? Lots going on right now, man. Will from LI. Will, how you feeling? JCS, will I go to training camp? No. I don't go to training camp. No, I'm here, man. I'm in the bunker. I'm in the command center with the people, man. So, yeah, I'll be here. But, anything that comes through, that comes across the wire, you already know. We on it. You already know. And yeah, Steph talked about, he talked about Deuce, kind of talking about the new look offense, a lot more motion, a lot more movement. I think that's what we've been looking for consistently. They had it at times last year, especially in the beginning of the season. A lot more ball movement, a lot more cutting. That was noticeable. We always talked about that. But it kind of slowed down. So we're trying to get that back. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. Chopping it up. On the Wednesday hump day, Creative Lou, okay, on the grind. Richard Miranda, get it in, man. Will from LI, of course. Architect 1. Shout out Never Forgive Action. BLW says retired, #grind. So BLW, he's just chilling at the crib. Shout out to my Uber drivers, my truck drivers, everybody in the Amazon, USPS, FedEx, everybody out there on the road, man. Shout out to you guys out there on this hump day. Getting ready. Stevie Nicks, Deuce is trying to get more cutting dunks. Yeah, we got to find a way to keep Deuce, man. No question about it. We got to find a way to keep Deuce. All right, let's see who we got here. All right, call me up on the Discord. Shout out to Bondy. You guys have the Ian Begley show that you can tap into. That was an excellent show with our guy, Ian Begley. Absolutely excellent show. And then we got an excellent show here with Steph Bondy, man. So shout out to those guys. Derek Amore, only logical trade to free up a roster spot is Kolek. Yeah, logically, but you got to be in demand. And financially, does that make the most sense? You know, if you trade Pacome, you trade Deuce, you free up more money. So that's the thing. Yeah, I would agree Kolek is the odd man out, but I'm not sure financially if they'll make that happen. So, you know, that's just what it is. All right, what else we got going on here? I'm just combing through the news. We got the two ways. Dink Pate is in Westchester. Got Garrison Matthews. Clearly, 3 points. 3-point shooting is also a priority. They want to up their 3-point shooting with the additions of Landry, Garrison Matthews, his potential if he makes the team, and if Brogdon can get back to, you know, league average as a 3-point shooter and get you some timely threes, that's what you're looking for here. Kolek or Shamet. So that's that there. All right. Salute to Daniel Beausejour. Says, I'm excited for Diawara. Likewise. You know, stash him as a project and let him work on his game, especially his offense. So I'm looking for next year. Can Diawara make something happen next year? Right. Fat Tony. Defense. You know, I'm trading Deuce. You trading one of your best point of attack defenders. There's no way. I can't let that happen. How are we going to trade Deuce, man? No way, man. Free up money, weaken your future. Yep, that's a gamble. That is the gamble, man. I want to shout out one of my sponsors of today at Wayfair.com, man. Hey, as we head toward another weekend of NFL football, college football, whatever you guys are into, make sure you check out Wayfair.com's outdoor patio furniture, man. They have everything you need and a large selection of outdoor furniture to get your tailgate right, man. Since the offseason, I went to Wayfair. I got a new table, new chairs, and a new grill to get it cracking outside so I can watch my Giants lose in peace. Who we got this weekend? I think we got the Chiefs this weekend, Sunday Night Football. So I'll be out there, get the grill on. You know, it's my birthday weekend, so I'll probably have some people over, get it going. I'll have somebody grill for me because I'm not trying to do much work. And that's that, man. But yeah, definitely check out Wayfair.com. They're always having a good sale right now. They have 70% off their fall sale. So make sure you guys check them out. And the best part, one of the best parts about Wayfair.com is there's no hassle shipping, man. It is free shipping, especially even with the bigger items. So no more huge delivery fees for furniture. You can get your sofas, your dining tables, beds, desks, and like I said, your outdoor patio all shipped for free. Wayfair is your trusted destination for all things game day, from coolers and grills to recliners and slow cookers. Shop, save, and score today at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Okay, so to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's see who else we got here before we dip. Will Bowman, hope the chemistry is good with the new additions. Yeah, likewise. I mean, look, you are carrying over 90-some% of the team. And Yabusele is a pro. Clarkson is a pro. I think they should be fine. You didn't bring in any locker room egos or anything like that. So I think they should be good. All right, who else we got? Talento, always in here. Shout out to John. Okay. What else, man? And make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Also, salute to the replay gang. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format, so no reason to miss it, man. We are everywhere. Social media, audio, video, newsletter. Make sure you guys are joining the newsletter. KnicksFanTV.com. Get your digital calendars. Make sure you guys are getting your digital calendars. You know what? I'm going to drop the link for you guys right now in the chat. If you guys have iPhones, I'm going to drop this link in the chat right now. Knicks schedule iPhone. For you guys with iPhones, click on that link I just put in the chat. What it's going to do, we program the entire 82-game schedule directly to a calendar that you can subscribe to, so you'll just get the notifications directly to your phone. Inside the notification will be links to post-game live, ticket links if you need tickets to the game. If there's a watch party going on that night, we'll have tickets to get your links to get your RSVP. So everything in one link, all for free. So if you have an iPhone, make sure you click on the link that I just put in the chat. And I'm about to put the Android link in there now. Knicks schedule Android. So those of you with Android phones, go ahead and click on the link there and add this calendar to your phone. There you go, for my Android people. Well, Latimer, what about Android? Well, I just put it in there. Make sure y'all click it. There you go, Android. I got y'all covered. I got an Android, man. We good. We Gucci. I got the Android right here, man. So I had to look out for you guys first. You know what I mean? Yeah, we good money. Let's see who was the chat leader today. Let's see. Eric G, 616. The chat leaderboard. Architect 1. And Stephen Gomez. Shout out to Stephen Gomez and our 305 Miami crew. Aggravated, man. Salute to you, Frack Guy 1906. Salute to you. Okay. All right, there we go, man. Would I ever do a meetup in D.C.? Yeah, man, that's one of the plans. We definitely got to do a meetup in D.C. That's an easy one. You know, jump on the Amtrak, jump on the Iron Horse and head down there. Take the Peter Pan or something. Yeah, we should definitely do one, man. Shout out to my guys at D.C. Head down to the park and ask for Primo. Tell him CP sent you, man. That's my homie Primo. Runs the park on 14th Street. Nice spot. Good spot to get some food, drinks, and whatnot. All right, let's see. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything on the news wire before I dip. Let's see. Just making sure. Making sure we didn't miss anything here. Anything from Ian? Okay, Bobby Marks. Let's see, Bobby. Okay, nothing there. All right, looks like we got it all covered, man. Okay, looks like we got it all covered. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys on Friday, man. Great show today. Thanks again to our guy, Stefan Bondy. See you guys on Friday, man.